and fire codes are met, so we can have a very safe event.
Now, when you say tents, I know an image the normal person would get about tents, and then there's the tents that are part of the event. They're quite extensive and quite lavish, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's a frame structure. There's a flooring contractor. You'll see that there'll be decking, railing systems. Because the topography of the golf course is as it is, it's a pretty elaborate method of constructing these structures, of which, if you're familiar with watching any of the PGA championships on television or PGA golf events, you'll see the similar tents that we're referring to. But in all practical reference, they are temporary structures, which the building code has to address.
And the interiors look like, you know, basically a sports bar or whatever they happen to want them to be.
Yeah, there's actually a separate contractor who is responsible for the interiors, and depending on the nature of the structure, that it will be decorated to fit the needs of that particular intent, whether it's the retail portion, the shopping, or there's actually more of the restaurant uses, or some of our corporate sponsors that will be wanting very specific seating, and as you said, bars and TV setups. So it's very unique, it's very customized, and you would be surprised when you do walk in them that they're actually a tent and not a building that you would come into.
Okay. So your department looks at all the plans, issues the permits, and does all the inspections.
Absolutely.
Which is quite extensive.
And as if you may be familiar, the construction has started already, and will commence through to the event, which is August 4th through the 10th. And at the same time, as it's taken several months to construct all these facilities, there's also a deconstruction process, and that will occur through till the 1st of November, which they'll be dismantling and trucking out and removing the items from the golf course. And then the restoration of the golf course is then to follow.
So it takes a couple months to take all the structures down?
Yes, yes it does.
Okay. All right, let's move outside of the actual confines of Oakland Hills. Last time during the Ryder Cup, we developed this special events ordinance. Why don't you tell our viewers what's that about, what's the process, what's the purpose of it?
Well, the special event permit actually works very well for any resident or commercial property that is looking to have an event. And we qualify event as anything that's going to attract people to that the premises, which then there may be parking involved, or maybe valet parking involved outside the normal use of that property. For the Ryder Cup, we had several properties adjacent to the golf course that were contracted out by corporations who wanted to have hospitality venues, of which then they would ask for the approval for construction of tents in their backyard. And again, it's the elaborate tents that we're speaking of. Sometimes they'll have entertainment. So in those instances, the special event permit is asking for a detail of what's expected. How many people are you expecting to come to that residence? How do you intend to manage traffic and parking? And the checklist that we have on the website pretty much walks through any person what we were asking for. Generally speaking, the intent of this information is to make sure that we can convey to our police and fire department that we have a major event. There'll be a lot of folks potentially at this site, and just to understand how, if there's an emergency, how to gain access and what to expect if they do come to that site for an emergency purpose.
So if I'm a resident and I'll just use an example, I'm gonna have like 12 people over, and most of it's gonna be confined to my patio and the normal use of the house. Do I need a special events permit?
Absolutely not, no. This is more for the large event, where you want to contact your neighbors. In some instances, you might want to contact the neighborhood association. Things such as, parking on the street will be prohibited to just one side if it's not within a restricted area. Or if you're going to have a valet system to understand, or operation, understand where will there be the storage of those vehicles. It's primarily for just the large events, that which is really going to affect the neighborhood.
Somebody might have to put up a tent in the backyard. We want to make sure that it's constructed correctly, first of all, proper fire.
Exactly.
protections and things of that nature.
Right, and we actually do inspections. Both the fire marshal and the building inspector will go out to the site to make sure that all those safety precautions are met.
And I think one thing we need to emphasize for our viewers, and I think Geof will confirm this, is like the Ryder Cup, there's no re-entry. Once you enter the premises and you go through security, there's no coming back out, going to one of these homes that's hospitality, and then re-entering the event. That won't be allowed.
That's correct. It was like that in 2004 for the Ryder Cup, and it will be the same in 2008 here.
Great. Anything else, Patti, for special events that our viewers need to know about?
Probably just want to mention that it's always a good approach to take is to contact your adjacent neighbors if you're going to have an event. We're not specifically wanting to know the details of your party beyond just the occupants, how many you've invited, and if there's going to be music, obviously having some consideration to your neighbors. If you intend to use the neighbor's property, let us know by maybe written permission that you have the ability to park on your neighbor's property. Primarily, it's just communication.
And there is a lead time for making the application so
Yes.
that we can review it.
Yes, and obviously, the sooner the better, but we'll be looking at least a couple weeks out prior to the the PGA event itself to get us the information. We actually create a listing of all the events that occur in the township on that given week and provide it to our police and fire departments so that should there be an emergency, they can expect, they will at least have an appreciation of what to expect on that street, what they might encounter. And that worked very well with our Ryder Cup event.
All right. Well, thank you very much for providing this information for us today. We appreciate all your efforts and hard work over the years, and wish you the best of luck during the event. If you need additional information, there is lots of it on our webpage. We encourage you to go there and see what information you need. If it's not there, there's also a hotline number that's listed. Please feel free to call, and we follow up on those right away. Until next time, we thank you for joining us on this version of Bloomfield Township Today. Have a great day.